there are other clubs watching these because I got an email from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and he offered some hints about how it could improve the quality of the filming. So I didn't realize when I started this that I was going to have to watch where I stood and how I put my hands and how I prance in front of the chart and keep people from being able to see the chart. So I'm going to try to concentrate tonight on just holding a little spot here on the corner.
We should mark it.
And it's possible before 90 minutes is up, I may have to ask one of you to come up and hold me by the elbow, because I don't know, that'd be an awful lot of energy to store up for 90 minutes when I'm used to moving back and forth. Thanks for being here. There are a couple of things I wanted to get into before we actually start with our class material, and I asked folks at the table to pass them out. Hopefully all of you have a paper that looks like this. You remember I mentioned that people offer advice, and then you ask them, when's the last time you won a tournament? And they say 1993. Might give you some idea of what the advice is worth. Anyway, one of the early advices I got, I mean, I was a kitchen player. I joined the ACC in 1990. And people said, well, the basic thing is just keep your points. Wow, it's that simple? My gollies, I'll try it. On this paper, in those days I didn't have a computer, so I recorded them on tablet paper and almost quit the ACC in the first year and a half that it took me to record these games. There's 1,000 games on here. Of each, 1,000 games of keeping the points. Every hand I pick up, I keep the points. That's what this top chart is. Every hand I picked up, didn't make any difference where I was on the board, I kept the maximum points. If I could keep 12, I kept 12. If I could keep 7, I kept 7. If I could keep 4, I kept 4. I kept them all. Never give up any points for 1,000 games. Well, now you'll notice the result. Out of 1,000 games, I won 464. The average game I won was by 13.426 points. I lost 536. The average size of the loss was 16.618. I scored 56 skunk wins. I got skunked 63 times. And on the first deal, having the first deal of the game, I won 268 of those. And on first deal losses, I had 231. Now, the bottom part of that chart is 1,000 games where I didn't pay no attention to the points. I paid attention to board position. That told me whether I ought to keep the points or not. And so, a huge difference. Out of that 1,000, I won 579 games. Notice that my average win increased by 3 points. Oh, how could that be? I'm winning by 3 points more than I did before, and before I kept all the points. How come it doesn't work that way? And instead of losing 536, I lost 421. Notice the size of my losses is also smaller. And notice I got 91 skunks. I won 91 skunks by game when I wasn't keeping the points. When I kept the points, I had 56 skunks. When I decided to play board position, to hell with the points, and sometimes broke up a double run even, to play board position religiously, I got 91 skunks. I got skunked about the same number of times, notice, as I did on the first 1,000. On my first deal, I won 325 games in which I had the first deal. And I lost 178 games in which I had the first deal. Again, both figures much better in the lower chart, not keeping the points, and than those in the first 1,000 where I kept all the points all the time. Now, I understand if you're playing even by board position, it might not be this clean. I was trying to see if, in fact, keeping your points would win cribbage. I'm satisfied it won't. And so, in fact, that shouldn't be the first thing that goes through your mind, is keeping the points. The first thing that goes through your mind should be, do I like where I am on the board? And then that will tell you whether to keep the points or play some defense. So I think you'll find your play, if you've been really focused on keeping the points, that you'll improve your winning percentage, get more skunk wins, when you realize that keeping the points doesn't have much to do with success in cribbage. Okay? Anyway, I just wanted you to have a copy of this because I think it's something to look at, but you could make some real comparisons. Your game might look a lot like this if you kept track of 1,000 each way. I'm not encouraging you to do it, because if you're going to go a year in the ACC or a year and a half playing 1,000 games and then another 1,000, you might go broke on the first 1,000. It might be a $18,000 lesson, and maybe it would be a lot cheaper just to take my word for it. Okay. Okay.